Welcome to Papa Gotta Go Pro. I've been to at least 20 all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean and Mexico. I consider myself an insufferable know-it-all. Too often I spend too much time on message boards like TripAdvisor, Facebook groups. I see the same questions come up from would-be all-inclusive travelers over and over again. Sit back, relax, read and enjoy. Here are the answers to the top 10 all-inclusive questions that show up on message boards. Question number 1. What's better to take, pesos or dollars? I see this question at least twice, 3 times a day. With just a few exceptions, it's always better to take pesos if you're going to Mexico. If you're taking dollar bills to tip or for the random cab ride, I think dollars would be okay. But for just about anything else, go ahead, take some time, order some pesos. You won't suffer from a lousy exchange rate, and you'll do a lot better. A lot of times, shopkeepers, they will set kind of a hidden exchange rate of 15 pesos to the dollar. I've even seen 10 or 12 pesos to the dollar. The actual exchange rate is up around between 18 and 20 pesos to the dollar. So if you're paying in dollars, you're gonna lose a lot of money. Question number 2. Should I tip at an all-inclusive resort? The answer is yes, definitely. We usually take week-long trips, and we'll take 80 to 100 $1 bills or 80 to 100 20 peso notes. And we tip the wait staff, bar staff, bus boys. It is common, it is accepted. It's understood that yes, all-inclusive resorts are, well, all-inclusive, and a lot of them advertise that tips are included, but the workers still rely on them, and it is a great way to show your appreciation for great service. I don't think I've ever been to a resort where I had to tip to get good service. I've always looked at it as a way to reward the good service that I was already getting. So be prepared, take a little bit, and share. Question number 3. What plug adapters do I need to bring? All the plugs in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, they're all the same. But people coming from Great Britain, they very often ask, which plug adapters do they need? And that's a good question. Here's a picture of what all the plug-ins look like in Mexico. And here is a picture of, I guess it's the right adapter, but it shows the right male end that you'll need to get and bring to plug in your stuff from Great Britain. Question number 4. Do I need to rent a car? The answer is no, definitely not. The driving culture in Mexico is very different than anything you're used to. Doesn't matter where you're from. Taxis are plentiful. Transfer services abound. There's even the colectivo that'll take you up and down the highway for 30 or 40 pesos. That's $1, $2. It just isn't necessary. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've been to Mexico over 20 times. I have never rented a car, and I've never felt like I needed to. If you're going to an all-inclusive resort, it just isn't necessary. Now, if you're staying in a condo in Tulum, Akumal, and you want to drive around and go grocery shopping, head back and forth to excursions, yeah, you might need a car then. But for all-inclusive stays, definitely not. It's too expensive, too much liability. You just won't need it. Question number 5. What is the best resort? The answer is, unless you're very wealthy, you're asking the wrong question. What most people are really asking is, what is the best resort for them? If you're looking for a resort with the best beach, then say that in your question. If you're looking for the best dining and dancing, ask that. If you're looking for the best family-friendly budget resort, then ask that in your question. Too often questions say just that. What's the best resort? And then the answers start coming, and they're giving resorts that cost $600-800 a night, and that's not very helpful, unless that's really what you're looking for. So if you're looking for the best resort for you, include that in your question, and lots of insufferable know-it-alls like me will weigh in and let you know what we think. Question number 6. Will there be mosquitoes, bugs, spiders, or snakes? The answer is yes. There will be some of those. There won't be all of those all the time, but most of the year there will be mosquitoes. You will need to bring a good mosquito repellent. I take Deep Woods Off with 25% DEET. I very seldom get mosquito bites, even at home, and I don't get them there either when I use the Deep Woods Off. My wife, she is a mosquito magnet. If she's outside at home for any length of time, she's gonna get mosquito bites. With the Deep Woods Off, in Mexico, she very seldom gets mosquito bites. In the tropics, there are going to be bugs and spiders and the occasional snake. I haven't encountered a resort that was overrun with any of them, but I have seen them, and they'll be around. Question number 7. Will there be seaweed? The answer is maybe. Nobody knows. And no one can tell you one way or the other. Starting around 2012 into 2013, there was the first, I think they called it a sargassum bloom. And seaweed started piling up on all the beaches. Well, not all of them, but most of them anyway. It's not very nice to look at. It smells even worse, and it does ruin quite a bit of a beach experience. We went to Akumal in June of 2013. We could barely even get in the water without crawling over a 4-foot tall mound of seaweed. Since then, about half the time, it's been seaweed free. Sometimes there's been just a little bit. And this past August, again, it was a 4-foot tall mound of seaweed to get to the water. Just a month later, there's none. There's pictures of pristine, perfect beaches. It comes and goes. It moves with the tide. The wind moves it. No one can forecast whether or not there will or won't be sargassum at any particular resort at any particular time of year. I don't believe there's any resort or area that is less prone to get it. The resorts that are on the west side of Cozumel, they are generally immune from getting the seaweed. But the beaches there aren't usually the best. It's more of a diver's hangout. There are some areas along the north shore of Jamaica that are usually free of seaweed. Very seldom do they get it. But if you have a trip planned in 6 months and you wanted to know what the seaweed situation is going to be, no one can tell you. You'll find out when you get there. Unfortunately, that's the truth. Question number 8. What is the weather going to be like? And the answer is, how can anybody possibly know that? It's true, there are some generalities. If you look at a weather forecast map, you will see rain and thunderstorms forecast just about every day. But that doesn't mean your vacation is going to be a total washout. What it does mean is in the summer and fall months, there's a very high likelihood of an afternoon or evening shower. It's not going to rain all day. It is going to be hot and humid, and you will have a good time. When it does rain, it's not a cold, dreary rain. It's usually a nice respite from the heat and humidity, and usually it's very welcome. The weather forecast will always show rain and thunderstorms. Don't worry about it. Question number 9. I read a negative review. Should I change resorts? The answer is no. Don't get worked up about 1 or 2 isolated negative reviews. Usually it's a perpetual malcontent complaining, and that's what they do. Also, don't worry about reviews where that is that person's one and only contribution to the message board. They're usually just grinding an axe. What you should do before you book a resort, look for consistent themes. Things like bad food, slow service, bad cleanliness. If it's repeated over and over, that might be one to avoid. But don't worry, after you've booked, don't worry about the 1 or 2 negatives. They always happen, even to the best resorts. Question 10. Is it safe? The answer is It is for me. I don't know about you. When I go, there are some things that I don't do. I don't join a gang. I don't pick a fight with anyone in a gang. I don't buy or sell drugs. I don't get drunk and stagger down a dark alley at 3 in the morning. This has worked pretty good for me. But if you're going to do some of these things, it likely will not work out well for you.